Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, CFI changes fail to impress SAFE. FedEx pilots union leadership approves tentative agreement. Ryanair pilots want in on the contract negotiation fun. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for nearly 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. CFI changes fail to impress SAFE. The FAA's NPRM surrounding CFI changes has not won over our friends at the Society of Aviation and Flight Educators, who say it fails to address a few key aspects while creating a permanent CFI certificate. As the gatekeepers of all future high-level aviation, CFI standards must be strict in weeding out the dangerous, the incompetent, and the lackadaisical. The new system, however, is, quote, only designed to save the FAA big bucks while continuing the same mind-numbing flight instructor refresher courses, end quote. Writing for the group, Master CFI, DPE, and ATP David St. George said that FERCs can be a, quote, good tool for an inactive CFI to retain privileges, but certainly misses many opportunities to improve and advance our aviation industry, end quote. The examination to pass a CFI for both initial and recurrent training has long served its purpose for the industry, he notes, but failed to build on top of the base-level CFI ticket like other industries. The most interest shown in the practice is the Gold Seal program, something St. George said is clearly a one-off token. Even though the FAA did not provide more in-depth training or certification to separate the garden variety CFI from a master craftsman of the aeronautical arts, he adds the industry stepped up in a private capacity. And coming up after the break, San Diego Air and Space Museum expands STEM initiatives.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. San Diego Air and Space Museum expands STEM initiatives. The San Diego Air and Space Museum has unveiled a new, innovative, and groundbreaking mission control mobile classroom devised for purpose of dramatically increasing the institution's STEM outreach. The Mission Control Mobile Classroom debuted during a June 1st ribbon-cutting ceremony at the museum's location in Balboa Park's former Ford Motor Company building. Museum President and CEO Jim Campbell stated, quote, the San Diego Air and Space Museum has provided STEM-focused youth educational programming in the local community for several decades, and education remains a top priority for the museum, end quote. Sporty's revamped CFI refresher course. Sporty's has updated its online flight instructor refresher course for 2023, adding a bevy of new topics for up-to-date focus areas and a sleeker, higher-quality user interface than previous packages. The FERC follows the same general flow of other Sporty's courses, providing lesson materials, graphics, new weather tools, regulatory updates, safety trends, and review quizzes. Of particular interest to returning CFIs is the IACRA tip module, helping instructors navigate the sometimes vexing FAA system. EAA Chapter 534 awards Ray Aviation Scholarship. Leesburg, Florida's Experimental Aircraft Association, Chapter 534, has awarded a Ray Aviation Scholarship to Luke Nunes of Claremont, Florida. The scholarship is awarded to young people actively involved in EAA Chapter 534's youth group, Squadron 534, who have displayed interest in earning private pilot certification. Through an annual grant given to EAA National by the Ray Foundation, a Florida-based organization supportive of aviation and aerospace-based education programs and organizations, local EAA chapters are able to grant scholarships to deserving young people. Ray Aviation scholarships amount to $11,000 and may be applied to offsetting the cost of recipients' flight instruction. Florida Civil Air Patrol members explore aviation careers. During a visit to EAA Chapter 534's hangar on Leesburg, Florida's Leesburg International Airport, young members of the Civil Air Patrol's Lake Composite Squadron were provided overviews of careers within the aviation and aerospace industries to which they might aspire upon reaching college age. EAA Chapter 534 Vice President John Weber arranged to have chapter members of varying aviation and aerospace backgrounds give presentations pertaining to their respective careers and the challenges and rewards peculiar to such. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. FedEx Pilots Union leadership approves tentative agreement. ALPA has confirmed the FedEx Master Executive Council, the governing body of the union's FedEx unit, voted to approve a tentative contract agreement with FedEx management. Next on the road to an equitable labor contract is a membership ratification ballot that will open July 5th and close July 24th, 2023. If ratified, the new agreement would provide FedEx pilots major pension improvements with alternative pension options, significant hourly pay rate increases, an amendable period recovery payment, and other improvements to quality of life. The agreement includes a 30% pay increase, a 30% increase to pilots' legacy pension, and a fully developed and equally valuable company-funded market-based cash balance pension, the latter serving as a durable replacement for FedEx's legacy pension program. To date, the proposed contract occasions the industry's largest per capita investment in a pilot contract and substantially raises the global bar on pilot retirement. The FedEx MEC Negotiating Committee, for purpose of educating the company's pilot cadre vis-a-vis the proposed contract in advance of the coming vote, will disseminate the full contract language, publish detailed information pertaining to the agreement online, and host a series of roadshows slated to get underway on June 20th. And coming up after these messages, Ryanair pilots want in on the contract negotiation fun.
Throughout the globe, Piper Aircraft has hand-selected the very best in company representation, service, and support. From first inquiry to acquisition to product support, Piper Aircraft ownership is seamless and worry-free. Piper Aircraft authorized dealers, factory trained, factory connected.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Ryanair pilots want in on the contract negotiation fun. The Ryanair Transnational Pilot Group has published a request on behalf of the European ULCC's working aviators, calling for the company to, quote, share the unprecedented economic success of the airline with its workforce, end quote. The move follows a series of successful contract negotiations stateside, where pilots have snatched one victory after another in their efforts to stay ahead of the inflation curve and maintain as much purchasing power as possible. Ryanair pilots have sensed the change in the air, coming together last March and convening Ryanair company councils to improve the state of their careers. In meetings with the myriad groups of Ryanair pilots, most broken down by nationality across the EU, the RTPG found plenty of common ground, quote, direct, permanent employee contracts, transparent career opportunities, and collective representation for all Ryanair pilots, regardless of base, end quote. The RTPG, backed by the European Cockpit Association, shared a letter via its social media, firing the first salvo in a battle for better working conditions. The letter was posted as a series of images on the RTPG Twitter account. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching!